Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussion on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, the new Powerpuff Girls, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, I think, is on again, and Ruby's back, apparently. I don't know, but we cover those and others. I'm Justin Cummings, and I'm joined today by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
Today, Michelle and I are having one of our wonderful Steven Universe roundtables. Always a treat to have you on, Michelle.
Thanks, Justin.
I'm glad you're excited, because today we are talking all about Amethyst. It is Amethyst Appreciation Day here at Overly Animated.
Yeah.
If we had a soundboard right now, there'd be confetti, noises, like, and all kinds of stuff, and like strobe lights, and it'd be great.
Everything that Pearl would hate and Amethyst would love would be included in this podcast if we could. If we had the budget for it.
Precisely, and it would be wonderful. We'd have all kinds we'd have cake and pies in the face, and it'd be great. It'd truly be great. All right, so you can hear this podcast and all our podcasts at overlyanimated.com or by searching Overly Animated on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. You know what I've been using a lot of lately, Michelle?
You're not gonna say the thing, are you?
I've been using a lot of Stitcher lately. I've been listening to other podcasts.
You and like 5 other people. What other podcasts are on there?
Tons. It's apparently it's the biggest podcast provider outside of like the podcast app on iTunes. So
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty big. So yeah, if you're on Stitcher, shout out. You've converted me. All right. So in the spirit of Amethyst, we have no outline.
No. We don't.
We're going to see what happens. I have a few ideas. Amethyst has kind of been the show's quote machine, honestly. I mean, everyone is, but Amethyst has had some amazing lines over the seasons. We're going to talk about our favorite funny Amethyst quotes and serious Amethyst quotes, because she's given us some really good ones in that latter category lately. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about her relationship. We're going to get into a ship war at the end of this podcast.
No,
a massive ship war.
No, don't you dare! You know how I feel about Amethyst. Don't you dare try to ship her with anyone.
So at the end of this episode, it'll be Team Pearl Amethyst versus Team Amadot.
Ooh.
And for the sake of argument, we're not going to take the poly route, because although I am okay with poly ships, I really want to argue with Michelle.
Nice. No, Justin, why? I try to be so amiable with you. Why would you do that willingly?
Because I love debates.
No, it's not
it's gonna
debate.
Be fun. It's gonna be. We need to give them a reason to stay listening after we admitted we have no clue what we're doing.
Right? Okay, I see the plan now.
So we're gonna end with that big battle. Please don't hate us after our ship war. Please don't hate us.
My God.
We're going to talk Amethyst quotes. I think we're going to talk about like her relationship with Steven, all the characters. We're going to talk, do you want to talk about her and Jasper, maybe? Her and Rose?
Yeah, her and Jasper. That was like when we got a lot of like the stuff with her this past season. Like a lot of her growth came from her juxtaposition to Jasper, so definitely.
But before we get to any of that, I call this segment Purple Puma's highlight reel.
Are there a lot of Purple Puma quotes? We have to talk
No, not quotes. We just have to talk about Purple Puma and how Purple Puma has one of the best wrestling records there is. Purple Puma has a better wrestling record than current presidential nominee Donald Trump. Look it up, WrestleMania. He lost, I believe. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. She has a better WrestleMania record than, or she has more successful title defenses than not John Cena. She's got more defenses than a lot of people.
Whoa.
Her win-loss record is better than that of John Cena, though.
Isn't Purple Puma like her male like identity though? Doesn't she?
Did they ever use pronouns for Purple Puma?
Yeah, because when Steven has the speech at the end, he's like, she changes it. Because I'm pretty sure Purple Puma is supposed to be a guy.
Then we need to readjust the rules, because in most wrestling federations, men and women don't actually fight each other. But I mean, I don't know the rules of Beach City Underground Wrestling, so we'll have to check the rule book on that specifically.
Yeah, I mean, if Amethyst is technically non-binary, I guess this doesn't really apply to her, that particular rule. She can just wing it.
True. But I bring this up because I am a huge wrestling fan. For those of you who know me, you know that I love pro wrestling. Yes, I know it's staged. it's enjoyable. And so to see the show do an episode all about pro wrestling and do it through Amethyst,
seriously, best character for love.
I still love that episode. We had to mention it. It's a selfish reason to mention it, but
had to mention it.
It's a selfish reason.
I kept hoping after the first season that they'd have like even just like a brief thing about her like continuing to wrestle, like because I thought that was like a pretty important hobby to her.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, like has she even gone back there? Like we don't know. I hope so.
I want to see like
make her happy.
I want to see like Amethyst and Steven walk in with the tag belts one night.
Seriously, yeah.
Just be like title bump and like just something cute like that, like a quick segment like before they start talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Just something adorable because they would make great tag partners.
They do.
Tiger Millionaire. He was quite the sneaky feline.
Well, we are gonna get Tiger Philanthropist at some point.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's about Tiger Millionaire.
Maybe that's the return of Purple Puma.
See, the reason I'm hoping, I think I may have mentioned this, the reason I'm hoping that episode's another wrestling-themed episode, not just that, the character Tiger Millionaire is based off of, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. When he left wrestling, he became a missionary and a pastor.
Whoa.
So
that's a different line of work. That's interesting.
So so it being called Tiger Philanthropist and like specifically what happened with the character that Tiger Millionaire is based off, and I'm like that seems logical to me, you know? It's like they know their stuff, or it's just a coincidence.
I'd buy that theory.
You buy it?
I buy it.
You're not going to borrow. You're actually going to full buy.
My first buy, yeah. I'm off the neutral fence for once. Well, you robbed the shipping war. All bets are down, man.
That's
you
enough
asked
Purple
for
Puma.
this. You're getting it, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do quotes next, or would you like to talk about Amethyst's other relationships?
Oh, I feel like we should do quotes because that's like a more fun way to start than like getting into like the serious stuff.
Okay, so the way I picture us doing this, instead of like a list, we're just gonna respond to each other. I give a quote, you give a quote, and we see if we can actually get through this without just cracking up. And you have to do it in your best Amethyst voice.
No, I don't have an Amethyst voice. What would an Amethyst voice sound like? Can you give me an example?
I don't know, Pearl. Just make it up.
Oh my god. That was pretty bad, though.
It was pretty bad. We're going to just see what happens here. Do you have your first quote ready?
Oh god. I didn't know I had to do a voice! Okay. Yeah, I have one. Do we have to give, like, the reference for the episode, or just, like...
Give the quote, and if I don't get the reference, explain.
So, like, the first one is from Sworn to the Sword, when Steven's, like, trying to figure out how to, like, talk to Connie about being, like, way too okay with, like, dying for him. And Garnet and Amethyst come in on the warp, and he's, like, sitting there, and Amethyst is like, "Hey, Steven, why are you sitting on the ground all sad like that?" I just thought that was a really good line. Like, her delivery was just, like, really good.
Yeah. I think my favorite Amethyst quote, now and forever, full disclosure, "This time, let's build a moat. I can be the crocodile." Jail's hands.
That was, like, so random, but, like, it was so quotable for so many people after the fact that I can totally agree with that. And then, like, Pearl's like, "No, like, you never commit. You always say you'll be the crocodile, but you never commit."
My friend got mad at me. I found 1 hour of Amethyst saying jazz hands.
Oh my god, Justin.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands. Jazz hands.
I would never be your roommate. I would throw all your stuff outside and lock the door.
I will send you this video later.
No, I won't click it then.
You won't click it?
No way.
I'll just be happy knowing that you have it.
Oh my god.
What's your next quote?
This one I believe is from Hit the Diamond when they're trying to figure out how to like handle the rupee situation. And Amethyst pulls up the bat and she's like, "Here's some backup for your backup."
That was a great quote.
I really liked that one. It was very amethysty.
I think it's a recent one. It's a very recent one.
Yeah.
Oh no, mine's.
Yours is.
Mine's even more recent.
More recent.
Crack the Whip.
Oh.
"In the heat of battle, you're not gonna have a swimsuit, Connie."
I forgot about that one. That is a good one.
It was just, the delivery was spot on.
Yeah, seriously.
Can you out Amethyst me?
Not with the next one, but like eventually. This one's from all the way back to Together Breakfast, when Amethyst wants to eat the Together Breakfast, and Steven's like running away from her in the temple, and she's like, "You cannot run me. We both have short legs." I just always thought it was like a really good line. I always really liked it. I still think it's a good Amethyst quote.
My next one's not that funny on its own.
Okay,
but when Reformed, when Amethyst finds the World War I gas mask, puts it on, I'm a pachyderm.
Oh yeah, they like the skull falls down. She's like, oh, look, there's a prize inside.
Amethyst.
That was good. My next one's from Stephen the Sword Fighter. When Amethyst eats the cloud and she gets all like puffed out and flies away, and when she comes back and like Garnet has her leg tied to like a string like she's a balloon, yes. And Pearl's like, I don't even want to know what happened to you, and she's like, I got hit by an airplane. It's just so stupid. It was so funny.
Steven's lying. All right, last one each. Steven,
I have two more.
Okay, you have two more?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Steven's lying when Steven's trying to convince everyone to keep lying, and he goes, I love you. And Amethyst, pure straight face.
Yeah, straight face.
I love you too.
And Pearl's just like so fed up. She's like, fine, we won't kill the lion. Everyone's enchanted. I actually can't remember which. Oh no, I think this was Catch and Release when so Peridot's like right when she's about to like she's like in the bathroom and Steven's like trying to convince the Gems not to poof her again, and Amethyst like, homegirl knows we're gonna beat her into a green pancake. That's what his lines are like. Amethyst is just like really cool, you know. Yeah. She's just very chill. And my last one was from Steven Floats. This is still one of my favorite.
Oh yes.
She's like, oh hey Steven. She's like, wait, can Steven fly? Yeah, I think I remember that's something he can do. No, I'm thinking of Lapis. Hey Steven, how'd you learn to fly? It's so stupid, but it's so good.
My last one, really not a quote. Okay. But in Last One Out of Each City, where they're trying to do the puzzle, and it's like, Amethyst, would you please stop bouncing? And it looks over, and Amethyst is the ball. Oh, Amethyst.
She keeps things enjoyable and lively. Like, without her, they'd probably be a lot more bored all the time. You need that kind of free spirit to balance out Pearl's level-headedness and Garnet's, like, total chillness all the time. And Steven needs to be able to have, like, rambunctious fun every once in a while.
But I think it's these moments, it's these wonderful, random, sometimes really stupid, honestly, quotes.
Sometimes really stupid.
It's because of these that when Amethyst does get serious, and I know there's going to be less of these, but we get some really great lines out of Amethyst. Yeah. Do you have one?
Yeah, and going back to one of your favorite episodes, Tiger Millionaire, you know, just like that moment when Steven's like really upset that everyone hates him, and she's like, oh, don't worry about that, like... And he's like, oh no, it like really upsets me. And he's like, do you like feel awful all the time? She's like, I only feel how I want to feel. And that's like such a telling, like, ooh, yeah. Like, there's so much going on with Amethyst that we didn't know before that point.
I'll take the really obvious one, On the Run.
Oh, wait, which one? There's a lot.
The one. Specifically the one where she's yelling at Pearl, I didn't ask to be made.
Oh, I almost chose that one, but I didn't.
It's so, like, that's the one that I immediately think of when I think Amethyst.
It just, like, cuts you. But as much as that one cut me, the one I chose was, I'm not going to let you stand there and remind me of everything I hate about myself, which is, like, all just, like, oh, Amethyst, no! You're wonderful! Let us love you!
Oh,
Don't
Amethyst.
hate yourself, yeah. So many powerful lines in that episode.
The one that I think needs more recognition. We're going to talk about Rose and Amethyst at some point tonight, and this is the line that really made me want to do it. Crack the Whip, where Amethyst is like struggling to stand, and I'm trying to remember the exact wording. She's like, Rose said I was perfect just the way I was. Yeah, I actually wrote that one down. It's like, but Rose said, ... I'm perfect, ... the way I am. Yeah.
heartbreaking. And again, like, it's that moment of like utter vulnerability, and also like kind of like, because Amethyst was like trying really hard not to let Jasper get into her head when she was fighting, but like once she was in her head, like her own like confidence started to really crumble, and you can just see it sort of chipping away at that point. And she's like, well, Rose said this and I believed her, but maybe I'm starting to doubt that now.
Yeah.
As I've doubted it before. And it's just like, no, Amethyst, don't go back to that way of thinking. No, it's no good. It's not going to help you. And that's like, I think, actually what's so crushing about that line, because you can just see her like her confidence is wavering in that moment. It's really heartbreaking.
What else do you got?
Those were my 3. Wait, let me check. Maybe there are more.
While you look, my next one, the last, I guess, definitive Amethyst line, Earthlings, where she goes and picks up Jasper. I've got you, sis.
That was really good.
The line read.
That. And that gives me more hope for how Jasper will be treated as a character when she comes back. Oh, actually, another really good line from Earthlings is like when her and Steven are right before they fuse. And Amethyst
the
is like,
worst gems.
Us worst gems gotta stick together, right? It's like, yeah! This looks like, how could you not root for them? It's so sweet.
Oh, Smokey.
Yeah, Smokey's pretty.
We will talk about Smokey.
Yeah.
This will turn into the Smokey fangirl podcast at some point tonight.
Oh, I didn't know you were so into Smokey, Justin.
Backstory. I first heard about Smokey Quartz when, like, something, I think from, like, Turner Classic Movies. Some random leak happened. Like, some offshoot of Turner, and anyway, there was, like, a thing, like, one line that said Smokey Quartz, and everyone's like, are we going to get a fusion named Smokey Quartz?
I never heard about this. How did I fall out of the Steven Universe loop of info?
I can't remember how I found it, and I remember telling Dylan when we did, like, a Summer of Steven preview, I'm like, I don't know, I heard some rumor about a Smokey Quartz, and he's like, that's not gonna happen. I'm like, but I saw a thing, and he's like, oh, that was one line, it's not gonna be anything, don't forget that. And then the moment Smokey pops up,
Dylan popped into your mind, you're like,
I'm like Skyping Dylan, and I'm like, I called it.
No, that was also me when we got confirmation that Rose was a quartz made on Earth. I was like, oh, Dylan, you're gonna be so mad when you see this.
So there will be much Smokey discussion, and in fact, I believe this brings us to the end of the quotes round of tonight's episode. If you at home listening to this podcast are screaming at us saying, you didn't say my favorite quote, don't fear. You can leave us a comment at overlyanimated.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and leave a comment, or Tumblr and leave a comment, or find us on YouTube.
On Stitcher, or can you not leave comments on Stitcher?
You cannot leave comments on Stitcher.
Oh, that's too bad.
So if you're on Stitcher, like myself, I'm one of you, Stitcher fans. I am one of you. If you are on Stitcher, go to any of our social media or our website, and you can leave a comment there, or of course YouTube, where we put all of our audio. We would love to see what you guys think. What stuck out to all of you? What are your favorite Amethyst quotes and moments? So, as you feverishly type those, we're going to move on. We're going to start talking relationships. Where do you want to start? I'll give you the choice between Steven and Pearl. Where are we starting?
Let's talk about Steven.
Let's talk about Amethyst and Steven. Let's talk about the worst gems.
Aww, that's just really cute. Like, as cute as like Shorty Squad is, I feel like Worst Gems is like even cuter, because it's like taking back the insecurity of being Worst Gems and making it their own thing, which is like really cool.
I fully expect a moment where they add Peridot to the Worst Gems, because
there's nothing wrong with Peridot. She's exactly the way Peridots are supposed to be, though.
Well, she's a later model gem, though, and I think we've seen a lot of Peridot's insecurities, and I think that might come back at some point, especially if we ever get a Peridot Amethyst fusion. Fingers crossed.
Ooh. Oh, no. So do you ship Amethyst then? Like, pretty hard?
I have an Amethyst print on my wall.
Oh, really?
It's so cute. It's Amethyst, and she's got, like, Peridot all wrapped up in the whip, and she's like, ee, and Peridot's like, ah, and it's so adorable.
Oh my god, that's
so cute.
Amazing.
So cute.
Oh my god, good for you.
It's right next to my Alexandrite Malachite poster.
Ooh, that sounds really nice. I should get one of those.
I'm a nerd. So when did because the worst gem arc kind of started just recently. How long though have you kind of liked the dynamic between Amethyst and Steven?
Since forever. I mean, since like laser light cannon, you know, like when we see them get fry bits and Amethyst just like kind of like grabs Steven and picks him up in the. It's just like their dynamic's always been really playful, like more so than I think with either of the other main crystal gems, and I feel like that was always really special to them. And like in a lot of ways, like Amethyst is a lot younger, so like she is like a sister more than a mom a lot of the time to Steven, and I think that's always been really appealing too. And I don't know, she's just like she tries to be supportive, but she also like goofs around a lot, and sometimes she like really bothers him, but like that's like really like realistic too for like a sister dynamic. So I just really liked it.
Yeah, it's always felt very natural and sweet to me. Like I mean, even when she picks on him, you can tell she's never malicious. Like Amethyst doesn't want to upset Steven. I think the moment that stuck out to me the most was an indirect kiss where she gets hurt and Steven's like taking care of her.
Oh yeah, and she's like trying to help him even though her like limbs are like falling off, and she like is talking backwards, and like and he's trying so hard to help her, and it's just like you don't see a lot of moments of them alone together in the show, but like when you do, I feel like it's always really nice, even if it's lighthearted. It's like nice.
Yeah. I love what is it? Cry for Help, I think, where they're on the stakeout.
Oh yeah, and Amethyst is like kind of bummed out, and Steven's trying to like improve her mood, so he shows her like the thing with the fingers and like staring at them. That was really cute.
There's a scene that was cut. I can't remember if they showed like an animatic or just storyboards of this on the official Tumblr, but they had a thing where like Steven reaches into Lion's mane and like gets sodas and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think they posted an extended storyboard of that.
Yeah, that was. I love that whole thing with him like using Lion as a fridge.
Yeah, that's exactly what he would use him for.
I mean, come on, if you were a teenage guy and you found out you had a secret pocket dimension, would you not store soda in there?
Soda, like your mom's sword, like anything you might want to take out later. It's your
ancient enemy that wants to kill you, you know, whatever. What's in the box?
It's complicated. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna find out though. What if it's like literally just a bunch of like little Butler VHS tapes that she recorded?
It probably. I
mean, it could be. It could be anything.
In theory, that is correct, and we will get to Little Butler later tonight. So stay tuned, fans.
Oh God, we're not gonna talk about like. Greg
we have to talk about Amethyst and Greg because there's so much there, and it's amazing.
Okay.
So
I mean, so much we don't know, though. Also.
Yeah, but it's so good, and we're gonna get there, fans. We're gonna get there. So, thoughts on Steven and Amethyst besides it's cute? Thoughts on Smokey specifically?
Well, like that brings up a good because, like, I think at the beginning it really was like a sisterly dynamic, but like it also like there was like a clear difference in maturity between. I mean, Amethyst is pretty immature, but she still like has like that sense of like responsibility and like she needs to go on a mission and Steven be left behind. But by the time you get to like say like Steven versus Amethyst, they're having pretty like mature, honest conversations with each other about their own insecurities. And I feel like they have progressed a lot with each other to get to that point. I don't think by like a laser light cannon they could have had conversations like that openly with each other, you know. So there is a progression there that feels really nice and natural.
I feel like I guess I know she's actually like thousands of years older, but I think if you compare it, she's probably acts around 2 years older than Steven. So 2 or 3. Yeah, so if Steven's say 12 at the beginning of the series, I think that math is correct. Compare like the conversation you'd have with a 12-year-old to the conversation you'd have with a 14-year-old. Even in those 2 years, you know, there's a lot of change and there's a lot of growth, and I think this show's done a really good job at kind of accurately reflecting that. It's like Steven does have to deal with so much for his age, but I do feel like, especially with Amethyst, we see kind of the sibling dynamic, because when they're younger, you do tease them a little bit more. You know, they're not as mature. You can't have those conversations with them. And I think we're seeing now as Steven's getting more mature, Amethyst treating him more mature.
Exactly. And Amethyst, like, this isn't totally about her relationship with Steve, but Amethyst has also been growing a lot too in her own way.
Mm-hmm.
And so for her to have those conversations openly and not just try to brush them off like she's so used to doing, I think says a lot for how far she's come too.
Right, definitely. I think Amethyst has grown, I think, maybe more subtly than a lot of characters. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't even know if it's subtle. I think it's like also that we haven't spent a lot of time just like focusing on her, even in the background a lot.
Burn.
So like, more like it's like kind of like her progression might be like scattered throughout the past like 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But like that's okay too, because I think they pulled it off okay, and it isn't like frustrating to witness. I do wish there was like more of it, but like.
Hopefully we will get more of it.
Yeah, hopefully we will. As much as I love Pearl, I feel like Pearl's definitely gotten like oodles more like focus on her own stuff than anyone else. Yeah. So I feel like it could be Amethyst or Garnet's turn.
And the thing is, it's like when we get Pearl, it's like we want more Pearl stuff, yes.
Pearl's really interesting. But like
else is
at
still
the
behind
expense
as
of everyone else.
Character development.
Yeah, it's like that division of time just gets wider and wider.
Yeah, definitely. I think we need to see more Amethyst. I like what we got towards the end of last season, though, that whole arc.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought Back to the Moon is actually a really good, kind of quiet. I mean, the episode itself is not that quiet, but I thought that it was a good way to end the Amethyst arc with her having to, like, be Jasper.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very interesting choice.
Yeah.
So we talked Steven. I think we're good on Steven. Let's talk Pearl.
I just want to jump into the Pearl. You don't want to warm up with like Greg or like.
All right, you know what? We're
gonna
save Pearl and Paradox for the ship discussion. Let's go with Greg. Because that's not exactly an easy one. So all we know is that they hung out. Pearl also hung out with Vidalia, more than likely through Greg. Or Amethyst hung out with Vidalia, not Pearl. Pearl has friends. What?
So true. It's so sad.
So we know that they hung out some. We know that she kind of blamed him for Rose's death at one point.
I mean, they kind of all did. Let's be honest.
True.
But she did.
And it's not explicitly stated. I've heard this implied many times. I really like this theory that Amethyst has her long hair because of Greg.
Yeah, I've heard that, because like she even has that line in Story for Scene. She's like, "I love your hair."
Yeah,
but, like it makes a lot of sense that she grew it up because of Greg, and she always thought he was cool, you know. Yeah. She always like went along with like playing the drums as long as she got like pop rocks. So and like she genuinely liked Greg from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's like he took her to rock shows. He did all this stuff with her. You know, they hung out. They were genuine friends. That was the thing. And I wish we knew how far into the timeline Greg the babysitter was. So we knew if Amethyst and Greg were really close friends by that point. Because we see...
Because
Lil Butler was starting around that time.
Yeah, because... Okay, so like by that point, Greg was like pretty good friends with Vidalia. I think Amethyst being friends with Greg was how she got to know Vidalia. Based on what we've seen.
Yes.
It seems like the gems have no reason to interact with humans otherwise, so like Greg would be kind of the bridge for that scenario.
But if anyone would, it would be Amethyst.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Greg the babysitter happens like before Greg and Amethyst are close, because like she's also like gone a lot on missions and we don't really see them hanging out a ton, so I feel like that happens a little later, but maybe it's like in motion by that point.
True. That seems accurate. I agree with that. Yes.
Okay.
So the process has begun of the
friendship. The process has begun.
So right now, do you think it's at a good place? Because I mean, the thing Amethyst pulled with turning into Rose, that was pretty heavy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and that's one of those things. Some people are really like mad about how the show handled that, but I think it's great. I mean, it's not great for Greg. I feel bad for Greg, but
Greg needs more sympathy.
It's nice to not always like punish people for doing awful things and to just let them like, you know, be flawed. And that's how I feel about the whole like Rosa Scabbard episode with like the way Pearl reacted to Steven. Like, yeah, it's not like you don't like condone it, but like you understand it. And I feel like that's kind of enough. I feel like you understand what Amethyst is feeling in that moment. And it's kind of just like enough. And the fact that Greg like kind of takes it in stride, even though it is like really awful to have your old friend shapeshift into your dead, partner, and kind of flaunt it in your face in a way. Like, that's really awful. And it could have been unforgivable. But Greg, he got it, and he probably does feel responsible still. Like, he certainly did about his relationship in terms of Pearl, as we later find out. So I feel like the fact that he was so chill was like the best case scenario, the fact that they could still be friends and like move forward, and it didn't like ruin everything, which it totally could have. I think this is a lot about how awesome Greg is too.
Greg gets props as always.
Serious props. It'd be hard for a lot of people to be that chill in that situation.
Dad of the year to Greg. Mm-hmm. So we've got Greg. You want to talk Garnet?
Yeah, we got a bit of Garnet, especially with like Reformed.
Yeah, Reformed. What were the other ones? Coach Steven, I'd say, and then Kind of Cry for Help. Because she sings a whole song about it.
Yeah, her first song.
Her first solo.
On the Rung was that's true. Her first solo song. It's so nice every time she sings. It feels like it's really rarely though. Maybe Michaela Dietz is the most anxious about singing. I don't know. I wish she had more songs though, because I really
need more Amethyst songs.
Yeah.
Or Smokey singing. I'll take that too.
Oh, that would be really nice. I mean, once we got Savani, I was like, fusion songs? Yes, please. Like, let's have all of them.
Well, technically, we've already had a fusion song because Garnet sang.
That's true. It's easy to forget Garnet's a fusion when Ruby and Sapphire aren't like literally on the screen, though.
Exactly. It's so easy because she's the main character. She's the only fusion that's like a main character.
Yeah.
Oh, Smokey, though. I love you, Smokey.
We're getting off top. What were we talking about?
I'm talking about Garnet, but I love Smokey.
I mean, so, like, the thing with Garnet and Amethyst is that, so, like, Garnet's, like, kind of the leader. Like, there's no, like, official, but, like, everyone knows, like, it's kind of Garnet.
Oh, Garnet's the leader.
Garnet's totally the leader. And Amethyst just, like, wants her to just, like, be appreciated and for Garnet to think she's cool, and like that's pretty understandable. And she also, you get the feeling that she kind of feels like Garnet respects Pearl maybe a lot more than her,
right?
Because of how she acts, and that really you get that kind of too in Tiger Millionaire, because when they're having the argument at the beginning, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna be as obnoxious as I want. Like that makes me cool, right, Garnet?" And Garnet's like, "You need to grow up. You're a crystal gem." And she like gets really hurt by that. So Garnet's opinion does matter a lot to her.
Right. She looks up to her. She cares.
Yeah.
I think she kind of gets jealous.
Probably.
I mean, Tower of Mistakes seemed pretty much like, I'm jealous, the song. I know it's my fault, but
I feel like it might even be less about jealousy, more about her just feeling really insecure about herself, like her being mad at herself more than being mad at Pearl.
Right.
She just like wishes she was better, because then she thinks if she was just better, then Garnet would like her more and respect her more. But that's like not the situation at all. It's just like in her head.
Exactly. And I think she's slowly starting to realize that after the whole, I think especially after the Jasper stuff, I think she's starting to realize, she is okay. And even if she's not the best, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And like even after Reformed, I feel like she improved a lot in certain ways. Like the fact that, because like Dylan talks a lot about how much he loves like how seamlessly she formed into Opal during Log Date with Pearl. And I feel like that's one of those moments that kind of highlights like they had so much conflict the last time they were Opal. And Giant Woman, they had so much conflict, but like by this point, like if it's that seamless, like Amethyst has to be doing a lot better, because it's really hard to fuse when people aren't on the same page.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times.
Exactly. So I feel like I think the Jasper thing kind of threw some larger issues into like in the foreground, but like I feel like in a lot of other ways, since like Reform, she's been improving a lot in terms of like how she feels about herself.
Right. Yeah,
but like
definitely.
Obviously, it's like not like fixed by any means. She still has like a lot of things to deal with.
So I'm trying to think of other characters besides Peridot and Pearl that we need to talk about in relation to Amethyst. I don't think Lapis is that substantial.
Not really.
She doesn't like Lapis that much.
Yeah,
Lapis doesn't care.
Talk to each other. Yeah.
I mean, she's just kind of there. Amethyst likes Connie from what we've seen.
Yeah. She's supportive. She's chill.
She's very supportive of Connie and Steven being Stevani and all that. She was very excited.
Yeah.
Not she came up with Stevani.
She did come up with their name.
Steven, Connie, Stevani.
Yeah.
So thank you, Amethyst, for giving us Stevani as a name. We owe you. We should come up as Overly Animated. As a thank you for her giving us Stevani, we should come up with her next fusion name. And Rebecca Sugar should have to listen to us. As a thank you.
Rebecca Sugar can do whatever she wants. She does not have to listen to us.
Somewhere she's listening to this podcast.
I don't want to bother
saying,
Rebecca,
sure.
Justin. She's busy enough.
Is she?
Oh, yeah. She wears so many hats.
All the hats. But you know who else likes to wear hats, probably? Amethyst.
What?
I'm guessing.
Maybe. She wore that baseball hat. Wait, did she? No, that was Lapis. But she had that awesome bandana. Honestly, I just loved Amethyst's outfit and Hit the Diamond so much. It was just so bro-y, I loved it.
Agreed. All right, so I think at this time, Overly Animated fans, I think Michelle and I are ready for our ship war. So get your shipping hats on, draw the battle line, put on your war paint. It's ship time. Pearl Amethyst goes head-to-head with Amidot. But first, can we just agree that Amethyst is the character you most want to give a hug? Just run up and hug her. She's adorable.
Yeah, I do. Then I also want to sit her down and give her a really long, sincere talk about herself and her life and her choices. I want to do both those things.
I just want to sit there, hug, and cry for 3 hours.
Yeah.
About our genuine lack of self-respect and just be well, let's just sit here and cry for 3 hours.
I'm learning more about you all the time, Justin. This is intriguing.
Yeah, just small stuff, not a big rant,
Oh, okay.
Look out for the Tumblr post later where I divulge all of my feelings.
Ugh. Okay.
I've done that once. So, we're ready for our ship war.
Alright, how's this gonna
go? The lines
go?
have been drawn. Amidot takes on Pearl Amethyst. Would you like to give your opening statement first?
No, go ahead.
So I'm thinking we're going to do this parliamentary debate style. Where...
What? Okay.
All right, here's how we're going to do this. I'm vice president of the debate club, okay? This had to be coming.
No, I didn't know that. This is such a blindside. This is just like the Lions.
So the proposition tonight is that Pearl Amethyst is a better ship than Amidot. You will give your opening statement, and then I will give my opening statement. You will add to that constructively, and then I will add to my constructively. Then I will rebut all your points, and then you will end with the rebuttal. And we will leave it to the viewers to decide who wins the debate.
Does this sound okay? I just want to tell you you're wrong or what?
You just want to tell me I'm wrong? Do you not like my style?
We can try it.
We can try it? Please proceed then with the opening statement of why Pearl Amethyst is better.
Why do I have to give the opening statement? I said you can have it.
You think I can have it? Mm-hmm. But you're the guest.
Okay. Let me think. This is really serious matter, Justin. You should have given me time to prepare for it.
I'm sorry, I didn't have time to prepare either. I mean, I did, I just didn't.
I think, okay, so a big part of what makes Pearl Amethyst so great is that both of them feel very insecure about themselves, and I feel like they can both be pretty empathetic to that in each other. And that's a really appealing part of their ship. Because on Amethyst's side, she feels she came out wrong. She'll never be the way she's supposed to. She had all this potential and she feels like she'll never live up to it because she's small and she came from Earth and she's just not the way she's supposed to be. And with Pearl, it's Pearl is the way she's supposed to be. She's just supposed to be the lowest class citizen of gems ever. And that's a huge insecurity too. So I feel they can really understand those aspects of each other so well, and be very empathetic to that and just get that about each other in such an easy way because they both kind of have been there. that you can't get in a lot of other cases with other people. So like that's primarily why I ship Pearl Amethyst so much.
All right. I'm ready with my opening statement on why Amidot is the superior ship to Pearl Amethyst.
All right.
Peridot is a homeworld gem. Peridot was created on Homeworld. She served Homeworld for we don't know how long. She defected eventually to the Crystal Gems. However, typically, Peridots would not be with our Crystal Gems. They're from a separate group. They're from the Homeworld. There were no Peridots that we know of in the original Crystal Gems. Amethyst is a Quartz soldier. To the best of our knowledge, only Rose had defected. They looked down on Amethyst because she was from Earth. So both Amethyst and Peridot kind of have this outsider vibe where the rest of their group were seen as villains or seen as the enemies of the Crystal Gems, yet they were able to join the Crystal Gems. As we talked about earlier, although everyone from her generation was made that way, Peridot doesn't have a lot of the powers she thinks she should have, such as shapeshifting. Amethyst also feels insecure about her size. So, together, they can help each other overcome these weaknesses. Amethyst is introducing Peridot to Earth culture, which, I mean, she can do that to Pearl to some extent, but that's by Pearl's choosing. Peridot hasn't had no opportunity to see Earth. Pearl has had every opportunity. Amethyst is helping Peridot get adjusted to Earth, to being with the Crystal Gems, to everything about their lifestyle, and also having free will and being able to make your own choices. And I think Peridot needs that kind of a guide to knowing just like what's possible, how much freedom she has. And I think together they balance each other because Peridot's rule following isn't quite as strict as Pearl's, and it's also, she seems to have more fun, or at least want to have more fun. And so that is why Amidot is the superior ship to Pearl Amethyst.
Okay, for my next statement, I want to point out that, yes, Pearl is a little more, like, uptight and neurotic. But that's, like, also what makes Pearl Amethyst so appealing, because they're literally, like, polar opposites of each other. And I think being polar opposites also means that their relationship brings out a lot of much-needed balance in each other's lives. For, like, Pearl, that means, like, learning to relax a little and, like, have fun. And for Amethyst, that means, like, thinking things through and being more conscious of herself and, like, her actions affecting people. And I think that's really important for any relationship, but especially for a shippy one.
Are not all relationships shippy relationships?
No.
What's the difference?
I mean, I feel like my definition of that might be, like, a little rusty, but, like, I always assume, like, shippiness comes from kind of, you know, something that's not canon for sure, normally.
Right.
I mean, and it can be based on either very little evidence or no evidence at all within the show, whereas just, like, non-shippy stuff is just like, yeah, so like if you find something in it you can argue, then it's like a ship, basically. Which can be anything. It can be a crack ship even, you know, depending on,
like Pewee.
I mean, that's not even a crack ship though, because the show like kind of like, you know, has moments of it actually existing a little.
So not like Ronaldo Jasper.
Canonically. Yeah, like Ronaldo Jasper would totally be a crack ship.
Low-key, I do ship Greg Jasper.
Wait, what?
I kind of ship Greg Jasper, low-key.
Wait, do you really?
Yes.
Why?
I have no idea.
How? How would Greg even get with Jasper? I feel like she'd find nothing interesting about him.
We'll discuss
like
this at a later date.
Soft man. Like, what about that would be like, ooh, to Jasper?
So the topic at hand is Amidot versus Pearl Amethyst.
Yeah, you introduced this whole other thing.
So okay. my second constructive argument on the topic, and then we'll move to the rebuttal period of this debate. Amidot, there needs to be some common ground in a relationship. Yes, opposites attract, and they bring out a balance, and they bring out the best in each other. But if you don't have common ground, you're not going to get anywhere. And the only common ground that Pearl and Amethyst seem to have is that they're crystal gems, and they love Garnet, and they love Rose. And
what?
That's not healthy.
Did you miss the whole, like, they can be empathetic to each other's, like, anxiety about themselves and learn to grow and be better people with the support of each other that would bring to their amazing shippiness? Like,
did you write this down?
Ground. No! This is my feelings since, like, 2013, Justin. I had a lot of time to think about these guys.
I'm surprised that your argument wasn't just an AMV.
No, shut up. Don't you talk about that on here. The next time I do one, it's going to be so freaking good. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to make you ship it.
Okay, if Dylan makes outlines out of AMVs, I'm allowed to mention one.
Wait, he's never done that, has he?
There was a Miraculous Ladybug shipping podcast where the entire outline was a music video, an AMV of Avril Lavigne's Girlfriend.
I'm, like, so insulted he hasn't done that for one of mine, then. That's pretty amazing.
He's gonna hear this and be like, I gotta get on that.
No, please don't. It'd be so mortifying.
So, like I was saying, Amidot, we have seen proof that they have this common ground. We see them bond over this common ground. That's why we have the Shorty Squad. That's why we see Amethyst helping her out. We've seen this common ground in action. We know it's great.
Squad too, though. It's not just them.
Yeah, and we already talked about why Steven and Amethyst are great. It's like a brother-sister. But this ain't no brother-sister relationship. This is a full-on ship relationship.
It's a bro-bro relationship.
You mean sis-sis?
Sis.
Unless I missed an episode somewhere. Pretty sure it's sis-sis. Sister. Love that show.
Like, actually, that is a good show.
That really was a good show. We can both agree on that. But at the end of the day, Amidot has more ground. It has more basis.
Wait, what ground? Besides that one,
too far, too short to ride.
Too short is the only one I can think of where Amethyst has like a legit conversation with Peridot, like about her being bummed out.
Beta.
But then, like, I mean, honestly, like, it's gonna be a ship involving Peridot, I feel like Lapidot has like so much more going on than Amidot. Like, they're literally
we're not talking about Lapidot tonight.
Together. I know we should, because like there's no way like this can hold a candle to that, which means Amethyst belongs with Pearl. That's the end of the story. That's endgame.
So I will now give my rebuttal to your argument. I'll give my rebuttal to your argument. Pearl still got to work through her issues. Pearl is not ready for a relationship with Amethyst because I don't think she could. I don't think they'd get along well enough. But you know who Pearl is ready for a relationship with? Mystery Girl.
Oh no, I don't know if she's ready for that either. But she's definitely taking.
She's ready to try, and I'm ready to watch it crash and burn, and I will be very.
Crash and burn. It'll be cute and in the background, and probably never. Like, I mean, again, like, if they can bring, like, Kevin back, they can probably bring Mystery Girl back, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, I agree, though. I agree that Pearl Amethyst probably can't happen right now. I feel like it'd really have to be Endgame. Like, seasons and seasons in the future for that to work itself out. But, like, if it did, Justin, I would be the happiest, most content fan in the world. I would want for nothing else in my entire life if that can just happen for them. You know, that's how strongly I feel. Can you feel that strongly about your ship?
Yes, I bought fan art of my ship and it's on my wall. I hang it above my bed proudly.
Oh my god.
So yes, I do feel that strongly about my ship. And I kind of want to give you this because I know some of your ships in other shows and I know things you don't know, and I know they're gonna die very soon. So.
You know things I don't know? What are you talking about?
Some of the basically every ship you've ever loved in Total Drama is gonna die.
What is gonna?
Some of them come back. Some of them die.
They actually die, or the ship dies?
No character dies. Just the ships.
Like, what the heck?
Yes, everyone dies in season 5.
Oh my god.
So I know that you're gonna hate me and shipping later, so you can have Pearl Amethyst.
Thank you. I'll treasure it.
But audience at home listening, let us know who's right. Who had the better argument? Who has the better side? What side are you on? Did you put your war paint on? Because I told you to. If you put your war paint on, text me your war paint. I want to see your war paint.
That's a little weird. You don't have to do that, listeners.
You don't have to, but if you did put war paint on, why not? You know, it's like if you've already gone through the hassle of putting on war paint.
Justin, if you've already done that for whatever reason.
So thank you, Michelle, for joining me tonight. Listeners at home, I'm sure you enjoyed this. This was fun. If by this point in time you don't know what to expect when a podcast is just me and Michelle, then you missed a few.
Really insane, always.
And you need to go back and listen on overlyanimated.com or on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher, such as Stitcher, and hear all of our discussions because they're about like this. If you enjoy this and you want to support us, leave us an iTunes review. You can't do that on Stitcher, but leave us an iTunes review. We love iTunes reviews. They help more people find the podcast, get us more fans, and that's more people you can discuss our podcast with, which is always awesome. I love good, strong fan communities. So leave us an iTunes review. Let us know what you think. We prefer you leave it on the main Overly Animated iTunes feed. I don't know how many of you are listening on the Steven Universe feed, but do please leave those reviews on the main feed. If you care to support us financially, which is also an option, this ad-free podcast is brought to you by Patreon. You can find all our information at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Gets you all kinds of cool bonuses. You get your nickname. You get your name and nickname read on every podcast. You get to join the Facebook group, YouTube live, monthly streams, all kinds of fun stuff. So, thank you to our current patrons, Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, Catherine, Taylor, Devon, Jade, John, Phoenician, Victoria, and Katrin, a.k.a. Fever Mitch, Cordell University, Beatrix Lestrange, Nathan Fillion, Buzz Lightyear, Mailman, Rachel Rose, Johnny Bravo, Brian, Cookie Cat Needle, Diamond Day, Jewel, Garfield, Fusion, Skylark, and Patron Katrin. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back soon. We got another Ruby coming up at some point soon. I believe Powerpuff Girls soon. Another Steven Universe Roundtable next week. In case you haven't figured out the pattern yet.
It's a pattern.
We're alternating Steven Universe Roundtables every week. It'll be Dylan hosting 1 week.
Oh, I was wondering about
and me
that.
hosting
I'm
the
like,
next
why
week.
does this keep changing?
And so we're going back and forth. So it's like every week you get Dylan, then Justin, then Dylan, then Justin. So let me know that I'm your favorite because I'm sure I am, right, guys? Thank you.
I feel like you have at least 2 fans who really
I have
like
a couple
you.
fans. I have a couple big fans, which appreciates me. The one that drew me the fan art of my head on a sushi roll was really nice.
Yeah, he uses that for his Skype all the time. So.
My Skype icon and Tumblr icon is my head on a sushi roll. Do you have any blog plugs you want to do, Michelle?
Not really, no, I'm good.
As always, guys, every Monday, the Total Drama review goes up. We're into season 2 now, just did episode 5. Keep up with that, share that, get the word out. We're trying to make that big. I have a blog coming up soon on animated miniseries and why we should have more of those. I just need to actually get the last couple hundred words written.
I suspect Over the Garden Wall is on that list.
It's mentioned. I'm talking about Cartoon Network and how they did Over the Garden Wall. Let's do more.
Yeah, we should.
Netflix is redoing Watership Down as a miniseries.
What?
Yeah.
Why? That's brutal.
With the BBC and less gory.
Oh, that's so stupid. That's part of what was awful and great about it.
We'll see what happens with that next year. But yeah, so keep in mind that. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for listening. Any final words, Michelle?
Thanks for listening. If you've lasted this long. Really appreciate it. Seriously, you guys are committed.
Leave the hashtag either Amethyst or Pearl Amethyst.
It's Pearl-Amethyst.
Pearl
It's not Pearl Amethyst. It's Pearl-Amethyst.
Leave hashtag Pearl-Amethyst
or
hashtag Amethyst. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.